Welcome to the Brett Davis Podcast.
Well, good afternoon. It is afternoon now, officially. It's 12. I hope everybody's having a great time in the world and everybody's enjoying each other and being nice. I'm very honored today, of course, to have two guests for the Alzheimer's Association in San Diego, Doug Friedman and Zoe Bulls. Nice to have you both here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great to be here.
And before we start, I have to say thank you to Attorney King because he's a big sponsor of my podcast. And without him, we wouldn't have our show. And of course, thank you to Sequan Casino Resort. Cody Martinez does a great job. Thank you for everything you do. Of course, those two individuals are going to be in the Coronado 4th of July parade this year and hopefully have a nice presence of some kind. I love a good parade.
Who doesn't?
And of course, Marina Teal of IB Fitness, thank you for your support. And of course, I want to say thank you to Bonafacetta, the garage, to Marco for everything he does. And if you haven't been to Bonafacetta, of course, everybody says it differently. I call it that way, but Sarah calls it something different. Thank you, of course, to Marco, and thanks for so much for all the great food and all the good community things that you do. So for today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Alzheimer's Association and some of the things that are going on with, is it policy?
Yeah. Yep.
And Doug, you're just going to kind of sit in and kind of add things to the conversation, or how's that going to work out?
I can kibitz a little bit, but the main thing I want to talk about is that currently, as we're recording this, it's Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, which is a month we focus on at the Alzheimer's Association about bringing awareness and knowledge about Alzheimer's dementia to people who may not know about it. People who may have someone in their family who showing signs of cognitive problems, and they're worried, but they don't know where to go. They have lots of questions. So through educational programs we have in support and a 24/7 helpline that people can call for free, they can get more information.
Not to get off topic, because I am going to stay on topic, yes. But has any one of you seen the new Billy Crystal movie?
Not yet.
Where he is beginning signs of Alzheimer's?
No.
If you get a chance, I highly recommend it. It really made me think about a lot of things, and he did a phenomenal job in that movie. And a lot of people probably haven't seen it because it's a small movie. I think it's probably some of his best work. And I think anybody gets a chance, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's his latest movie and it's on that subject. And of course, he was a comic in the day, and he's a writer. He's involved with TV and the golden era, which is perfect for him. But he starts noticing he's losing certain keys, and people, when he's trying to be funny, because he's known for being funny, he's really scared out of his life. And he's joking about what he's going through, which is he can't remember certain things.
Right.
And everybody doesn't realize he's not acting. This is really what's going on with him. But it's it puts a shine on an area that I think is uncomfortable for a lot of people to talk about, and scary.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a great awareness raising movie, and that's the whole point of it.
It is, and I hope that he gets nominated for some awards for it because he did a phenomenal job. If you get a chance, check it out.
Will do.
It is scary. I mean, Alzheimer's is a scary disease. In past surveys years ago, when they asked people what they were most afraid of, physically to happen to themselves, cancer was by far number one. But Alzheimer's in surveys has come up to be even with cancer as the number one concern about people as they're getting older.
So the question is, are we more aware of Alzheimer's because of technology and all the areas of, things we're connected to, and we have more media coming at us faster and more than ever? Is it awareness? Has it always been there? Is it part of the reason that people are living longer? Also, I mean, what is it? Is a combination of both? I mean, what do you think? Why does it seem like it's so much more of it?
Well, people are living longer because of a lot of reasons. I mean, science and our lifestyles, and we know that healthy living leads to longer lives. So people are doing much better in that regard. Because we're living longer, we're seeing more dementia, because it's the number one reason that there is dementia that we know about is because people are living longer. This wasn't as much of an issue when the average, living lifespan was 40 or 50, hundreds of years ago.
I'd also say that we're more aware of it now as a society because, at least in the United States, around 10 years ago, the National Alzheimer's Project Act, or NAPA, was passed. And that really created a sort of federal legislative backbone for advancing Alzheimer's research and making it a national priority. And that's done a lot of good in raising the profile and increasing just budgets to and expand projects and care programs.
So does Alzheimer's fall into the category of mental illness?
Oh, that's that's something. I mean, it's a disease. I'll leave it at that.
It's a mental,
it's a brain. It's a
mental,
disease. It's a disease of the brain.
it's a mental disease, but I mean, would that be part of, is that somehow categorized, or is it too, so much we still don't know about Alzheimer's?
I don't know that it would qualify as mental illness, and I'm just speaking off of my own understanding now. Just because it's also such a physically, it's caused by physical symptoms in the brain. There is a plaque that builds up, and the brain begins to degenerate. And I'm not sure if mental illnesses are qualified in that same way.
Not in the general terms that we use. This is a
It involves the brain.
Mhm.
yeah.
And those other things that are part of illness involve the brain. Nutrition probably plays a huge impact, and genetics, I would think.
Certainly.
Genetics is also a large part.
Okay.
That's part of my own, interest in advocating for improved Alzheimer's care and support programs and research funding. I have Alzheimer's on both sides of my family.
Me too, by the way.
Yeah. And it's just, it's something that I've always felt a sort of resignation to ever since I was a child, watching my great-grandparent go through it, and then watching my grandfather on my dad's side and my mother and my grandma on my mom's side. I really just, there's this hopelessness that comes with understanding that there are genetic links and that it is in my family, and it's something we're all going to be dealing with and have been dealing with for generations. And that makes me really passionate about supporting families and people living with Alzheimer's and just trying to get more improved prevention and treatment options for families like mine.
Now, have you looked at other countries and studies of what's going on in other countries with Alzheimer's? I mean, we know what's going on. You have the United States, pretty much. You have a lot of data here. What kind of data do you have with some of the other countries and what's going on with Alzheimer's there?
I was going to say I'm not very familiar, but I would assume that in countries where lifespans are expanding, similar to the US, we're also having increased rates of Alzheimer's and dementia there.
There are a lot of studies going on internationally. The Alzheimer's Association funds tens of millions of dollars just in San Diego alone, but now I think it's over 300 million currently in research now around the world. Some of the studies, including one that we funded here in San Diego, was looking at impact of actually wine and how it affected Alzheimer's in populations in Italy versus Germany. I think it was
Talking like Mediterranean.
right. So the Mediterranean diet versus diet in Northern Europe, and it was just focused on those countries. But the idea being that different cultures and in different ways that we live our lives might impact our brain function differently. So yes, internationally, this is a big part of what we do in research. Is we're looking all over the world. I believe it's in Colombia. There's a town where early onset dementia hits. I'm talking about in as early as the 30s and 40s, hits a large number of people in that one town. And there's been a documentary about it, and they're studying this too, which is hopefully leading to information that can help us.
So what do you think the reasoning is for that?
That's something that we're studying.
So there was really is it the water? Is it the air quality? Is it
there are
in this country?
Yeah. See, this is why we need more research to know. It's never just one thing. That you can read articles about every piece of food that there is in existence, and one will say, "Oh, this is not good for you. This is good for you." There's no one thing. When we will be able to diagnose Alzheimer's 20 years before symptoms show, because if you have Alzheimer's, it will be in your body for as much as decades before before you'd even know it, before you show signs. But eventually we'll have a blood test that will show. Then we will have a pool of people that we can really do trials on, and we can try drugs, and we can try different sort of lifestyle things that will help us really to be able to find a way to prevent it. So this is the next step, I would think. There are drugs now that are starting to treat the root causes of Alzheimer's, but it's going to take much more research with people in the very early stages, or even showing, like I said before, symptoms show.
The basic things we hear about, like exercising your brain, driving home a different way, picking up a new hobby, taking a dance class, maybe you never took dance before, things that make your brain challenge a little bit, things like that. I mean, do you think that really does help at all?
I think it does, certainly. And I think another important part of lifestyle implementations that you can use to try to prevent Alzheimer's is just a really healthy sleep schedule too. There's a lot of important brain cleaning activities that happen when you're sleeping. But certainly any sort of behavioral prevention method like that is absolutely recommended, and also just good for you generally.
I mean, that's a basic thing that we've lost. I heard this, and I don't know if it's true. You'll let me know if you don't think it's true, of course, is that since Edison invented the light bulb, as a country, we have every year lost more and more sleep. And I don't think it's because of the light bulb. I think it's because maybe that was the start of things. And then, of course, technology and people are stressed about their lives, about their families, and trying to figure out things. And we're being inundated all the time with, I think it's information overload. And there's no really any chance to even get a basic sleep. Or even a lot of these countries, like you were talking about Mediterranean diet, a lot of countries look at it as a plus to take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be it could be a 20-minute nap, but in this country, I don't think we really look at a nap as a good thing, because we're very work orientated.
Right.
It's all about, working. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing either, but, and some of these other countries you're talking about are known for shutting down. Like, I know Germany, I think I heard, shuts down for a month, a year.
Right.
And they go on vacation and they live. And
yes, Norway, I'm friends there. Yeah, they promote getting out. They want people to get out, go visit foreign countries, go around the world, take time and regenerate. It's a good thing. We spend a lot of time looking at lifestyle, and we have programs to talk about important lifestyle changes that you can make and things. And there's nothing counterintuitive. Keep your brain active, doing puzzles, things like that. Have social life where you're mixing with people. What you eat's important. Getting the sleep, not smoking. So these are things I like to say. What's good for the heart is good for the brain. So study what's good heart health as well.
Have you heard anything about recent studies showing that on autopsies, people have more plastics in their brain than before?
I remember reading something about microplastics being found in bloodstreams, but I don't think I've read specifically what you're talking about.
I'm wondering how much, because I mean, the body, I know a little bit about the body. I've worked with bodies for years, and I've worked with some of the best people. Jack LaLanne was my first boss. And, nutrition's always been an ample part. But when you have one area of the body is one, I believe, is one unit. I don't think you can say, well, if you get cancer in your arm, you're not going to get it in your body. I mean, cancer can spread through skin cancer, right? Throughout the body. I think inflammation is inflammation. If you've got inflammation in your body, you're probably going to have it in your brain. I mean, that would make sense to me. It's all tied together.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I mean, that's what I would think. But I hear we have more things in our bodies now, as far as like preservatives and things, that I've even heard some people during the pandemic, when people were dying, say that in some cases the bodies don't deteriorate as fast because there's so many preservatives that they've been consuming in their diets, the body's almost preserved in itself, and it's lasting longer than ever in any of the autopsies that a lot of them have done before.
Well, I would leave that to people on our scientific team to talk about and answer. But our website does have a lot of information about health and Alzheimer's and things, and there are educational sessions that are recorded so people can find things like this information.
But if those things are true, that's lifestyle.
Mhm.
Apparently, lifestyle has a huge impact on a lot of what we're talking about.
It does, absolutely, yeah.
Maybe more than, a lot of us give it credit for. I mean, the basic things you're talking about, so sleep and taking time to be human and enjoy life a little bit, and taking a break and eating good, clean food. I mean, those types of things, I could see where it could have possibly an effect. But here's another thing too. And this is where we're going to go into what you're doing, and we're going to talk about this. This will be a segue into that. A lot of people economically don't have the resources to do a lot of these things too, do they?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Right. So in my role as the public policy and advocacy manager with the Alzheimer's Association, I connect with folks who live in the San Diego Imperial County area who are dealing with Alzheimer's or who are caregiving for somebody who has Alzheimer's. And we advance policies at the federal and state level that seek to improve care and support programs for Alzheimer's and seek to increase funding for research to try to find a cure for Alzheimer's. And one of those policies that we're advocating for is called the Comprehensive Care for Alzheimer's Act. And what that would do is really try to streamline dementia care management models so that when somebody is interacting with a primary care physician and then they get a diagnosis, they then only have to talk to one person rather than talking to their insurance and talking to community care support services and talking to all these other people that, I mean, right now it's just this really convoluted web of services that you have to navigate on top of dealing with the difficulty of an Alzheimer's diagnosis. And it is a barrier to access for people, of course. I mean, just administratively, bureaucratically, it's a lot to have to go through at a time when you're already contending with this really life-changing diagnosis. So yeah, some of the policies we're looking at do try to make care and support and treatment programs just more easy to access. And we're trying to make policies and programs that meet people where they are, rather than making people having to jump through all these hoops at a really vulnerable time.
Is there a country that you know of that is doing something similar to what you're working on now?
I don't have a specific example off the top of my head, although I would think that in countries where, there's universal health care, it's likely easier to access in terms of cost, although administratively, I'm not sure.
I wonder how Canada deals with theirs, because Canada has universal health care, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because I always look at, I mean, this is your forte and your expertise. I always look at people that are doing things that maybe I like to do and find out what they did to get there, because I think it sets the tone for a lot of things. But it sounds in a lot of ways, you're almost like being a pioneer in this area with Alzheimer's. And this is something that's very well needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, I mean, to Doug's point earlier, there are lifestyle changes that we recommend to people for preventative measures, but we need more research. We need to understand Alzheimer's better, how it happens, how you can prevent it if you can, and then how to treat and manage it better. So really it's a field that needs a lot more research done so that we have more concrete answers of what to tell people.
How's the funding with all the crazy times in the world? How's the funding going to be? Is it there? Is there funding there, or will it have to be created through some type of programs or taxations? Or
there is federal funding as well as state funding for Alzheimer's programs. In California, we have some pretty good infrastructure across California. The act that I mentioned earlier, the National Alzheimer's Project Act, that needs to be reauthorized. It's coming up to expire in 2025. And the Reauthorization Act would expand that federal budget program and enable that research to keep happening.
If I'm not mistaken, and I'll go on a little bit of a tangent, but not too long. I'll stay tight and close.
Brett, on a tangent?
Is Maria Shriver very vocal about Alzheimer's? I think her father, Sergeant Shriver, had Alzheimer's disease. Is she being very active at all with?
She has been vocal, and we have worked with her on things in
I know she's very passionate about it.
Oh yeah, she is. No, she's been a supporter.
Good. We need more of that, don't we?
Well, we do. We have a lot of celebrity people. So we call them champions.
So that would be you, because you're a celebrity.
Yeah, thanks.
You're an actor.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But no. This is getting the message out, getting people to in communities, particularly in diverse communities that don't traditionally come forward and talk about someone in their family that might have dementia. There are cultures that just will keep that hidden from even friends and neighbors.
Sure.
So one of the things we do, we have a promotora program where we have people that go out in the community just to let families and let people know if there's someone in their family that that could help by seeing a doctor, getting tested, that they should do that.
Okay. So for people out there that want more information and they want to find out, some of the great things you're doing with, of course, government and things that are going to be coming up and things that are currently going on, what's a good website people can go to?
Well, that's easy. I'll take that one.
Yeah.
alz.org. At alz.org, which is the Alzheimer's Association website. And if you slash San Diego, so alz.org/San Diego, you get more and all the information about what we're doing here in San Diego.
There it is.
Oh, how do you
Great.
like that? That's where you can see we have programs, we have support groups, we have support groups for caregivers, we have all kinds of programs throughout the year. Chances for people to get together to raise money through the Walk to End Alzheimer's, where we we have 3 walks in San Diego coming up September 24th in North County, October 8th in Point Loma, and in November in Imperial County. We have the longest day, which is part of Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. The longest day is the 21st of June, of course. We'd say that's the day with the most light when we're trying to shed light on the darkness of Alzheimer's.
June 23rd is
21st.
June 21st is the longest day of daylight.
Yeah, the most daylight in the year. Yeah. So that's the central thing. We're lighting up buildings. We're getting, the county has agreed to light up their building, the convention center. We're going to have everything turning purple on the 21st. So when people drive by the freeway and they see a building lit up purple, they should know that's for Alzheimer's awareness.
Well, purple's our favorite color.
Me too.
You match.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate both of you being on the show, and any way we can help out, we would love to get behind what you're doing and get it blasted out in our publications and of course the radio show. And you got 100% support from us.
Thanks. Well, we want to thank the sponsors and the people that have participated in the longest day. And even just this month, you ask how people can help. You can go into a BJ's Brew House. We're, of course, in June now, 2022. And for $1 donation, you can get a free Pizookie. And when you're in BJ's or Mission Fed has been a great partner, and they're taking donations in all of the Mission Fed credit unions in June. So we're appreciative of all the partners and supporters we've had.
Yeah, and I'll also say that, this federal and state level advocacy that I'm involved in, it's wide open to anybody who cares about Alzheimer's or has been impacted by it. We're always trying to connect more people with their elected officials, and it's really the voices of constituents that matter most in these issues. So if folks are looking to get involved in any sort of public policy advocacy, just go to our website, and I hope you can find my email. And I'd love to connect and get people engaged in the efforts, because, the more the merrier, numbers matter. And I know that there are, there are 60,000 people across San Diego who have Alzheimer's or are impacted by Alzheimer's. So this is a really big community issue, and we just want, the community involved in fighting back against it. Well,
Doug and Zoe, I appreciate you both being here and informing us and educating us about what's going on and the current things, and just got to keep fighting.
Thank you for having us, Brett.
You take care, both of you. Both of you losing my voice. Everybody have a great day. Take care of yourselves. And remember, be nice to each other. Take care.